All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and do a little demo so that you can see how to apply a glow. Remember, after you shoot your landscape pictures and you make a contact sheet, the project is asking that you choose your favorite grand landscape and then your favorite close-up or detail and abstract, and you apply a glow to all three of those pictures. If you decide you really don't like the glow, then just apply it to one so I can at least see that you know how, okay? But I think it looks pretty cool, and really the glow kind of originated from this professional landscape artist who came into our class a couple years ago, and he did a project with us, and gosh, his work is amazing, and he says he applies these glows to every landscape picture he takes. So that's why we're going to give it a shot. Okay, so again, the first thing that you're going to need to do is go ahead and open up your image in Photoshop. The easiest way to do that is to launch Bridge and then go find your picture. In your guys' case, your pictures are going to be in your landscape project folder that lives in that photography network folder. But for me, mine's on the desktop. It's actually right here. So once you find it, you're going to go ahead and just double click on it, and that will automatically open it up in Photoshop. And then even before you get to the glow part, you're going to want to go ahead and make any adjustments that you want to the exposure or the color. So, my favorite one is adjustments, levels, and then I will just move this dark slider on the left till it starts to rise up the mountain. The white one, adjust my midtones a little bit, just to get a little bit more pop and contrast in this picture. You might also want to go into your hue and saturation. And remember, if you click on this little hand tool, you can click on a color in your picture, and then you can make that color a little bit more saturated. You don't want to go crazy, obviously, but a little bit. And you can make it lighter or darker too. So just kind of adding a little bit more pop to those fall colors. But once I get it how I want, again, going back to this idea of the glow, the first thing that I want to do is make sure I can see my layers palette, which is down here. If you don't see yours, go up to Window and then down to Layers right here. And then you want to go ahead and double click on this background layer and then just hit OK, because you're just trying to unlock it. So then we can go up to Layer right here and down to Duplicate Layer and hit OK again. So now we just have two layers or two copies of the same picture essentially. After that, the next thing you want to do is go up to Image Size, and you're just trying to gather some information in this window. And we're looking for our largest pixel dimension, which is not this. It's actually right here in the top. It's kind of hidden. And again, you don't need to write down both numbers. You just need to record the largest number. So in my case, it's 3,264 pixels. That's the largest dimension. So I'm going to record that somewhere. Just write it in your book. And then hit Cancel. And then what we need to do after that is we're going to go up to Filter and down to Blur and over to Gaussian Blur. And we need to figure out how much to blur it. Mine was already done from a previous example, but yours is probably going to look more like this. And in order to figure out how much to blur it, you're going to multiply that largest pixel dimension, which again in my case was 3,264. You're going to multiply that by 0.007. So I come up with 22.848. So I can just type that in here, 22.848. And then hit OK, which significantly blurs that top layer. And you might think, oh my gosh, what's the point? You just wrecked my picture. But wait for it. Over here in Normal, where it says Normal, these are layer blending modes. So if I click on that drop down and I go all the way down to Overlay, it's going to blend those two layers together and produce the glow, which is pretty cool, I think. It looks awesome. It definitely increased the color and the contrast, brought in the shadows, and just gave it kind of this more pop, and made all the little edges of the trees and the leaves and things like that look like they're glowing. If you wanted to do something a little bit less, and you have soft light is just a little bit less intense, and you could choose between the two. Then once you've done that, that's the whole glow. It's pretty simple. It's time now to save. And because we have layers, I want you to save your first copy. You're going to do a File, Save As. And you're going to save this first one as glow. And then you can just leave it as a PSD. So you're actually not going to change the format. Again, for you guys, you want to go ahead and find your landscape project folder. And again, in my case, I'm just going to save it to the desktop. So I'll hit save. I already did one of these, so I'm going to go ahead and replace it. Okay, after that, what you want to do is go up to Layer and down to Flatten, so that we can now save a second copy as a JPEG. And I told some of you guys about resizing your picture for bulb because it's running a little bit smoother. So now would be a good time to do that as well. If you went up to Image, Image Size, and you just change this dimension to 72, which mine already is because this is from my phone, but yours is probably at 300. So you could go ahead and change that to 72 and then hit OK. And then go ahead and do a File, Save As, leave it as a glow, make sure it's going to the right folder, and then change it to a JPEG and hit Save. And again, I've done this once before, so I'll just go ahead and replace mine. Hit OK. Now you're ready to do that with your other two photographs, and then put all this stuff on Bulb. Remember that the page that you need to follow in your book is page 70, the Am I Done page, and it will list everything that you need to put on your Bulb page. Okay, hopefully this works out and you enjoy it.